This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 topics in about 10 minutes for Thursday, January 25th, 2024. I'm Derek Gilbert. Topic number 5 today, the worst day so far for the IDF in Gaza. At least 21 IDF soldiers killed in one incident Monday. The IDF announcing that troops were preparing to blow up buildings in central Gaza that are approximately 600 meters from the border with Israel. It's about a quarter of a mile. This would prevent the repeated use by Hamas to fire into Israeli communities within eyesight, within sniper range. Anyway, the operation focused on allowing Israelis to return to their homes, not allowing Hamas to use these buildings as cover. Hamas terrorists fired an RPG, rocket-propelled grenade, at the buildings that had been rigged with explosives, which triggered the explosion, bringing the buildings down on top of the troops. Again, 21 soldiers reported dead. The worst single-day loss of life for the IDF since the war began October 8th. The buildings collapsed as a result of the explosion. Benjamin Netanyahu vowing retribution. Again, the worst single-day loss of life by the IDF since they went into Gaza in early October. Topic number 4, the censorship industrial complex. Not just a clever turn of phrase. America First Legal has released new documents from its lawsuit against the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency, or CISA. This is essentially the censorship office inside the Department of Homeland Security. Yes, it actually does have we thought back in total information awareness, back when that came out during the George W. Bush administration, was just a conspiracy theory. It isn't a theory, and it never went away. It's just morphs. It's like whack-a-mole. Public finds out about one, they shut down that office, they transfer the funding and the responsibilities to another office. This agency, ostensibly responsible for fighting against mis, dis, and malinformation, or what they call MDM, mis, dis, or malinformation, regarding the 2020 election. That's what the America First Legal Foundation has released. They found that even though CISA and the federal government under, this would have been during the Trump administration, toward the end of the Trump years, even though that they knew that mail-in and absentee voting are less secure than voting in person, CISA, the Department of Homeland Security, basically tried to squash the narrative that this was somehow a bad thing during a media tour before the 2020 election. The mainstream media, however, having already hopped on board the narrative that mail-in voting was necessary because of the pandemic, covered up the truth. They went with what they had been told by CISA. CISA knew there was no credible evidence to support the claim that in-person voting would spread COVID-19, yet it covered up the truth and pressured social media into suppressing information along those lines, posts along those lines. And CISA called upon an accounting and consulting firm, Deloitte, to gather disinformation narratives across social media regarding voting by mail, and then used that information to monitor and censor those who were putting out things contrary to the official narrative. Again, the bottom line, despite the awareness of voting, the lack of security, the potential problems with fraud for mail-in voting, and the harmlessness of voting in person, CISA, during the Trump years, the final year of Trump as president in 2020, continued to support these unprecedented changes in voting across the states in 2020. And yet the corporate media covered up the evidence and focused on CISA's independence from Trump about the security of mail-in voting. Again, this uncovered by documents, internal documents, in a lawsuit filed by the America First Legal Foundation. They knew what they were spreading was wrong, but they continued to do it anyway because it served a particular political end, which was to get Donald Trump out of office. Topic number 3, fake science. High-profile group of funders, academic publishers, and research organizations are trying to tackle a huge problem in academia, which is paper mills, businesses that churn out fake or poor quality, peer-reviewed academic papers selling authorships. It's a cutthroat world, academia. If you don't publish, you don't advance. Publish or perish is the mantra. In a statement released on the 19th of January, this group says it will address the problem through closely studying paper mills, these companies that just churn out these so-called peer-reviewed papers to help academics burnish their credentials, and improving author verification methods. Estimates are that hundreds of thousands of publications put out by these paper mills are polluting scientific literature. Now, here's the thing. If as we are been told ever since the beginning of the pandemic, dis, or malinformation about science leads people to make choices that could be potentially harmful, how much worse is it when the science that we're supposed to believe turns out to be fake? That's the problem that we're dealing with here. The problem is identifying that these papers put out by paper mills is difficult. One analysis suggests that as much as 2% of all scientific literature published in 2022 may come from these paper mills. Essentially, you pay them enough money, they'll publish it, make it look like you actually have a peer-reviewed article now in public circulation. This is probably going to be made worse by generative artificial intelligence, AI, that can just create gobbledygook papers that appear to be legit, although there are others who are using artificial intelligence to find the papers generated by artificial intelligence. A war of the AIs apparently coming in the scientific literature. In a related story, by the way, we note that Harvard University's teaching hospital is set to retract or correct dozens of papers authored by 4 of its top researchers following claims that they falsified data. This is Harvard. And by the way, not only are they retracting 6 papers already selected for retraction, 31 others in the process of being corrected. You might remember Harvard is the university that until recently was headed up by Dr. Claudine Gay, who was pressured to resign after it became known that she had actually plagiarized dozens of instances in her published peer-reviewed work. When they say believe the science, question the science. That's how science is actually done. Topic number 2, sign of the times. We talked yesterday about businesses leaving urban areas and urban centers. This is just indicative that Americans are getting fed up with metro areas run by progressive city governments, transforming them into violent crime hellholes because George Soros-backed district attorneys refuse to enforce common sense laws. Well, of course, then we've also got the open borders, which are flooding some of these metro areas with migrants who shouldn't be here, assisted by taxpayer-funded non-government organizations, allowing the greatest invasion of the United States that has ever been. Well, some investors are finally putting up their money to offer an alternative for people sick of living in urban hellscapes. A venture fund in rural Kentucky building a new community for folks who want to get out of the chaos of progressive cities. This is called the Highland Rim Project. Highland Rim Project. Venture fund, new founding, called New Founding. That's the name of the venture fund. New Founding is developing rural towns and communities nestled in the bucolic hills of the eastern Highland Rim area of Tennessee and Kentucky. That's basically the highlands of central Tennessee, southeast Kentucky. Here's the thing, though. It's caught the attention of the corporate media because the managing director of New Founding, Joshua Abatoy, said the community's leadership would be predominantly Protestant Christians. Well, my goodness, we can't have that. That sounds like a bunch of right-wing Christian nationalist insurrectionists. Globalists at the World Economic Forum have overplayed their hand. They want us all forced into 15-minute cities where we live within 15 minutes of everything you need, walking distance, that is, because, cars bad. But then during the lockdowns of COVID, which we're supposed to, encourage us all to take the jab and not question anything, they showed us that we don't need to live in those cities anymore. And frankly, because we've sent our manufacturing overseas, we don't need the cities, period. So along comes somebody putting their money where their hearts are, and the media is freaking out. Again, World Economic Forum shot themselves in the foot. Highland Rim Project says they will announce specific locations later this year or early next. Coming up, they're taking down mirrors in school restrooms, and you'll never guess why. Or maybe you will. That's next on 5 and 10.
Jonathan Cahn is back with his most explosive book ever, The Josiah Manifesto. This stunning book exposes whether or not a 3,000-year-old calendar of appointed days provides the secret to the most dynamic year of our lives, even ordaining a plague, a national lockdown, days of fire, and the changing of the Supreme Court. Secret information regarding an anonymous prayer and a mysterious template that may lie behind the event that overtook Capitol Hill and shook the nation. And the mysterious ancient king that may have revealed the secret behind a modern American president, and so much more. Also included in this must-have collection, The Gods of the Bible Unveiled on DVD, where Derek Gilbert systematically breaks down how to understand what the gods in the Bible are and what their place in Christianity actually is. In this instructional guide, you'll be taken step by step through why God calls his sons gods in the Psalms, how the fall in Genesis was only one of 3 divine rebellions, and how the Greek gods and titans found their origin in our Bibles. But that's not all. In this amazing offer, you'll also receive the Jonathan Cahn Collection, featuring 3 uncut, extended, and too hot for TV episodes on the return of the gods that will leave you speechless. This DVD also includes 3 additional episodes of Jonathan's best interviews with the Skywatch TV investigative team. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of over $75. Yours now for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling. But right now, you can upgrade your master collection to include the absolutely astonishing Josiah Manifesto Uncensored 8-DVD album featuring hours of additional totally uncensored raw materials and mysteries that are not included in the book or anywhere else but right here, including the Island of Mystery, the Winds of Hinnom, Jehu and the Temple of Baal, the Jubilee and Redemption and the Child of the Nile, and the Manifesto Part 1 and 2 and the very last mystery. This special upgrade includes all of the items from the Josiah Manifesto Master Collection and the exclusive uncensored 8-DVD album, which altogether holds a retail value of $200. Yours now for your donation of only $74.99 plus shipping and handling. So be prepared to understand the end times like never before as you dive into the Josiah Manifesto Master Collection or the Master Collection with upgrade uncensored 8-DVD album. So order now at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Josiah Manifesto Master Collection.
Item number 1 today, taking down the restroom mirrors. Why? Well, for generations, I mean, if you're old enough to remember back in the day, the danger is that kids would cut class to go to the restroom to smoke cigarettes or whatever. Led, at least in my elementary school, to doors being taken off the stalls so that teachers could look and make sure you weren't doing stuff in there you weren't supposed to be doing. But now in South Carolina, or North Carolina that is, Southern Alamance Middle School in Graham, North Carolina, they've taken down the mirrors in the school restroom because kids are cutting class to go into the restroom to make TikTok videos. Yeah, they shoot the video in the mirror and they can see themselves as they're doing their dance moves. Apparently this became enough of a problem for this middle school that they took down the mirrors to get kids to go back to class. They said that essentially it's like interrupting a drug supply because getting the likes on TikTok stimulates dopamine production in the brain and your brain can become addicted to it. They're seeing some positive results to it. Other schools are taking it a step further and just banning phones in school altogether. And actually that is showing some very positive results. Not only did students stop making TikTok videos in the bathrooms, they're actually talking to each other again. Wow, that is so 20th century. What is the prophetic significance of the Israel-Hamas war? We talk about that this week with Jonathan Cahn, his new book, The Josiah Manifesto, another jaw-dropping collection of, an analysis of how the lives of the prophets, lives of significant Old Testament figures actually provide a template for understanding today. Don't miss the program. If you haven't watched the previous shows, you can watch it along with this week's program at our website, skywatchtv.com. All of our programs are always there. You can also catch it right now at our Roku or Apple TV channels. YouTube, we've got a new channel for the main program at Skywatch TV Now. Check it out there, or at rumble.com/SkywatchTV. Better yet, get our free mobile app that cuts out the gatekeepers of big tech. It's our app. We will not be canceled from our app. It's available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets, absolutely free, and we have links to their app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com. Thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.